Hello, guys. Welcome to part 3 of F1 visa interview, transcript, questions, and answer. For this particular new series now, unlike the previous series, part 1 and 2, there is going to be a new approach where we are reviewing um, various transcripts and then we highlight the important maybe responses that should have been done and also other red flag, okay, for for denied applicant and also for approved applicant, we highlight what made this individual, got the approval. But one thing I will always say is that at the end of the day, it is left to the visa officer to approve or deny you. So whatever you are doing, ensure you are doing it right, you are intentional, and you are audible enough. It is very important to be audible when answering these questions. So the first we have on our list, this individual got his approval after I think the second trial. He was denied that first, and let us go into the transcript proper. So the visa officer greeted him and asked for his I-20 and passports. He also responded and you know gave the document, passed the document to the visa officer. Okay, the visa officer asks that you are going to Clinton State University. And of course, you should respond the way it should be. Be bold. Yes, that is correct. Then, normally, like what I always say is that when you ask questions like this, so you are going to XYZ, or where are you going to? Whichever way it ask, this question is being asked, make sure you are very audible and you know what you are saying. Okay? Then, if the visa officer doesn't stop you from speaking, please you continue speaking. Yes, I'm going to Clayton State University for my MBA, okay, in XYZ concentration. Okay. Then the visa officer asked, what will you be doing on your return? Me, I will be coming back to take up an advanced position as a forensic accounting manager. Okay. Now you see this particular response, you would personalize it. Now, when you ask what will you be doing on your return, there are many approach to this particular question. However, this is just one of it. As we treat other transcript, you will see different responses. So you can tie it to your work that, oh, you are coming back to take up a senior role or you are coming back to take up an advanced position as XYZ. Okay. Then the visa officer asks, who is going to be sponsoring your education? That would be my father. He's a medical doctor and a fellow of American Association of Family Physicians. Mm. Now you see, he was very very intentional when asked this question. Now, and of course, this is not maybe a line or whatever. Okay, so for your sponsor, who is your father, that is point one. In fact, a very big plus. You have a very very strong relationship because he's your father. So it's even quite easier than maybe you have someone that doesn't bear your surname or doesn't relate to you. Of course, that doesn't mean that an external individual can't be your sponsor. It is very, very possible, provided you are ready to um, explain the reason why. Okay. And now this guy, said he's a fellow of American Association of Family Physicians. Come on, who doesn't want to hear such a thing? So I'm sure that was why the visa officer caught him. Why not? They are looking at our system, and before you know it, he got the visa. Now, the truth of the matter is, there are many ways to this. For this particular individual and transcript, you see that this is a wounded soldier in the sense that he was denied at first. So he had learnt what should be said and what should not be said. And as a result of that, he was able to control the interview. Listen attentively. You should learn how to control the visa officer based on your response to question. And you are intentional. Okay? So let us go to the next one. This individual was denied in August 2021. And this is the second attempt. School, University of New Haven, the course, mechanical engineering, cost of attendance, about $33,000, scholarship, $1,800, okay, or $1,800. And he has a deficit of 30,000 plus dollars. Well, there's no testimony around that. So let's go to the visa proper. Me, good morning, sir. The usual greetings and the usual. Okay, So the guy was like, have you traveled before? That is the visa officer asking. Me, this will be my first time of making plans to travel out of the country. Now, when you ask questions like this, there are different approach, but this is just one of the approach in answering this type of question. Have you traveled before? You should be bold. You don't need to lie. Don't try it. If you lie, you can be caught. Okay. They have this. They have the information with where they can check for things like this. So you don't want to implicate yourself. Yes, I went for my previous interview in August 2021. Hmm. Now, when you ask questions like this, have you gone for an interview before, or have you been denied before? Please learn to be sincere. You don't have to, um, um, pretend like they will not know. They have the trail of record of every activity you have done on that website. Okay, so you have to be very, very sincere. Now, so the visa was like, is it the same program you are still going for again? Since you had your previous interview in 2001. And his response was yes. However, I'm not going to a different school. Then I explained why change in the school. Same program but different school. This is the rule. Now, it's not as if there's a conventional rule or maybe a fixed rule when it comes to being denied and changing your school. But the truth of the matter is, if you want to get it at a second attempt, for those that have been denied at first, you have to be intentional. See, the truth of the matter is, it is basic common sense that you don't use the same school. Although you may be in the situation where maybe the school gave you fully funded offers, that is quite different. But if you did not get any form of funding, or maybe just 20% funded, so you should change the schools. We have over 3,000 schools in the United States of America. So why should you still use the same schools when you have been denied with that school? So it shows, the visa officer that you have done your work, number one. Then you know what you are doing. You are a researcher. It means because of what happened, you went back, to look for a better school. So and that will explain much more. Okay, and buttress your story to the reason why it happened based on XYZ activity. And now he had to explain why he changed the school. Now let's read the explanation. I worked as a robotic system engineer, and my roles entails design robot system, everything that has to do with a robotic system engineer, overseeing manufacturing process and creating prototypes. Now you see, he has already hooked the visa officer based on this particular response. So you discover that he's not gonna ask much, information about, okay, did you apply to any other school? No, he's not gonna do that because of his response. So you have to be intentional when you are changing school. There should be the why factor. Why you changing? Is it because maybe you are switching career, or is it because you got a promotion, or is it because you've secured a better funding option, or is it because of maybe particular research ongoing in that new school in the department, or because of the faculty? You should tie it to a story. Okay, who is paying for your deficit? Now, the ability to become tensed, it's always there. Okay, but one of the rules we always say is that before you go for an interview, look at the mirror. Okay, this is not motivational speaking or quote, but it works. Most look at the mirror and tell yourself that I got this. I will get it. It's as simple as that. And just relax. Feel free as if you are with your colleague, or you are sitting with your dad and you are discussing, or you are sitting with your mom and you are requesting for maybe money to buy one or two. You understand? That is how you should take it. You feel relaxed and you are intentional. That is the goal. When you become intentional of something, you don't become tensed. Okay. However, when you are tense and you are having that anxiety, you just calm down, take a deep breath, and you continue. Okay. All right. So my dad to be paying for my deficit is a medical practitioner and CEO of SYZ Specialist Hospital. He goes on and on to explain that this is a private medical facility whose headquarters is in Lagos, Nigeria. In addition, he has landed properties which include XYZ service apartment and one hotel he leases out for commercial and residential use. My dad has set aside an amount of 35,000 USD to cater for the first 12 months of my academic program. This should cover my deficit and travel expenses. Now, you see, he was able to break it down from various. But now, he first of all talk about where the father works, who the father is. He even mentioned the name of the hospital. There is a CEO, and not just an hospital, but a specialist hospital. Okay. And also, he had to look for a way to tie it home, landed properties. The father has, two home service apartments, which is very, very important. Landed properties can never go wrong. It's a very strong home tie. And then he had to also explain that the father has set aside about 35,000 USD to cater for his 12 month of academic program. Now, you see, he was so intentional and took it by those steps. Like we always advise when you're answering question about sponsorship, it's very, very broad, but that has to do with the type of sponsor. Once again, like I've said earlier, that is sponsoring you, there are approaches to it. Okay. And of course, when you're explaining things like this, especially when it comes to sponsor, you have to maintain a very, 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 a good eye contact with the visa officer. Yes, eyeball to eyeball. That is if the visa officer is looking at you, or maybe the visa officer is typing their computer. Please still maintain that posture, maintain that eyeball. You look straight to the eyes of the visa officer, and you explain. Okay, that's like what I've said. You are intentional. These things you have to just be intentional. And it's possible that maybe when you are saying your father is this or your sponsor is XYZ and the rest, they might even want to check about the company. So if you are saying your father is a company of Dangote Industries, make sure that Dangote Industries should be verifiable. At least, even if they don't have a website, when you search, at least the social media pages should be able to come out of the company. You don't want to, shoot yourself on the foot at the end of the day, and the video tends to now suspect foul play or lies. So you want to take note of that. See, this is like a 360 kind of approach when it comes to preparing for your interview. You don't joke with it, especially when it comes to sponsor. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. What is your post study plan? So usually when you ask questions like this, you can use different approach. One of the approaches is that upon completion of my studies, okay, I'll be returning back to my current place of work to pick up the IRO of an engineering consultant where I'll be able to assist. Now, you see, you discover that this first transcript and the previous one tends to be the same. The truth of the matter is, when you ask questions like this, in any format it comes, okay, that what will you be doing, what is your post-study plan, or what will you be doing after your study, whatever way the question comes, please, there should be a format most times. Now, I'm not saying you should adopt what I'm about to say, but I tell you for truth, this style has always worked. When you ask questions like that, just start with, upon the completion of my studies, I will be returning back to my current place of work to pick up an higher role. It's as simple as that, or an advanced role, or a senior role, or a new position. See, I tell you the truth. As a graduate student, you are going to school to advance your degree, not only that, to advance your career. So it is always normal that when you are coming back home, you are advancing. Okay, you cannot remain where you are. You should just I don't know, that is just the truth of the matter. This format has always worked and it will continue to work. Okay, so take very good note of that. And after that, come on, who will not approve such a wonderful transcript? And he got the approval at the end of the day. The visa officer gave him the white paper, and as usual, you will not hear anything after that because of that. And our final today is a little bit different, and this is our third attempt from this particular individual from University of Rochester. And oh my God, the cost of attendance is very high, 76,000 plus. Okay, he had the scholarship of 47,000, 50% tuition off, and deficit of 28,000. Course masters in biomedical engineering. The usual greetings and So now this is for those that stutter, those that count their words. Now it's always very, very beautiful so that you don't become a bit tensed at the beginning. You can always inform the visa officer that, hey, I want to inform you that I stutter. Please be patient with me. It's fine. They are psychologists. They will understand. So you don't need to stress yourself. Now the visa officer asked, I see you are going to the University of Rochester for your master's in biomedical engineering and you have about $15,000 deficit. How would you pay for the rest? This is very, very straightforward. No, no, no. What is this? What is that? I think this visa officer was really concerned about the deficit because even I myself, to be very honest, it's very, 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 very high. Okay, the cost of attendance is a little bit high. My stepdad now, beautiful. You see that the last two transcript we just went through, they all had their father, of course, biological father, sponsoring them. Now you see this one is a little bit different. My stepdad will be covering the deficit. Now, if you want me to do a video on how to fund your education, or who is sponsoring your education, who is financing your education, who is your sponsor, I can do a separate video. See, when it comes to sponsorship, this is one big area where many people have red flag and they get denied. There are many approaches. I think I'm going to do a video on this. There are many approaches when it comes to this particular question. Who is covering your deficit? Who is sponsoring you? Who is financing your education? Who is your sponsor, etc. Okay? The way you respond at first will determine if you'll be denied or not. Now, this person said, my stepdad will be covering the deficit. Now, take note, when you ask questions like this, you don't pause. You keep on talking until the visa officer cuts you. So you should have prepared on what you are going to say. Please don't cram. You should have prepared on what you are going to say, and you put it in different. When you write it somewhere or type it somewhere, make sure it's a paragraph. Maybe the first part can be talk about what he does or what she does. Then you now talk about how much the person has set aside for your education. Then you can now tie it to different home ties. And then if that person is not related to you by blood, you can talk about good deeds. Maybe your parent has done for that individual, and that individual is wanting to reciprocate that gesture of love, in sponsoring you. There are all sorts of stories to this. However, let's go. My stepdad will be covering the deficit. The visa officer asks, what does your daddy do? He works as a consultant engineer and earns approximately 60 million in an annual income. You see, you have to be deliberate most times. This is not compulsory still, but you want to be specific with the amounts. Please, it should be in your local currency. Don't stress yourself. Don't stress them. Let it be in your local currency. That is very, very important most times. Okay. And still, at the end of the day, it is not compulsory. Please take note. This is just my own opinion and my own view, and it has worked perfectly. What do you do? I work as a research assistant in my alma mater. The service, what will you be doing after your program? I'll be coming back to take up a role as a senior laboratory special. You can see senior, senior, senior. The other one said I will be taking up an advanced role. You understand? So these things are very important, and you explain, and before you know it, you get your visa, and that shock, that usual shock, will be there. So now, in summary, I just want to point out one thing. Number one, when you ask question about what will you be doing after your program, like I said, please always tie it back to your maybe current place of work, or if you are not working, maybe you have an NGO, or maybe you have a goal to set up the biggest non-governmental organization in your country back home. Then you can tie it also to that. Okay, there are many ways you can tie, but please, you don't want to come back to that place and remain where you are. That is the see. I'm sorry to say it, but this is just the raw truth. If you take it this way, I'm telling you, you will get your visa approved at your first instance or attempt as a graduate student. So take very, very information that you will notice from these 3 transcripts that I highlighted. Every one of them are coming back, to advance their career. You can see this one returning back to my client to take up an higher role. That one says senior, this one said higher role. And then the other person, you see that he said I'm taking up an advanced position. So please take good note of that. All right, thank you very much. And in our next series, part 4, we'll be treating another 3 transcripts, and this set of individuals that were denied, we're going to share, and I'll explain why they were denied, so that you take note and you are not denied. Also, you take note of the pitfalls and learn. If you love this type of video, kindly like and share this video. And if you have any question, please leave it in the comment section below. And then if you enjoy this particular format compared to our previous series on visa transcripts, funding and interview questions, please leave a comment below. And if you have your questions, also leave a comment below. And if you want to book a mock session with us, please feel free, go ahead, visit our website atmtravels.com, and book a session with us. Thank you very much, and I hope you get your visa at your first attempt. Please note, we are not visa officers, but we are just here to share our opinions and guide you as to what we feel will always work, and it has always worked, okay, when it comes to getting your visa at first attempt. Bye for now.